Hello, Stuart.
On the booze again. I just can't wait to get back on the booze again. Recording podcasts with my friends. Okay, good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
And good evening to you,
or
listeners.
Whatever time of the day it might be, wherever you might be.
Yeah, not necessarily good evening to you, listeners, but guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen, good
Buenos.
Abend, Buenos dias.
Bueno day. It's D, I think, isn't it?
Because we usually
In
record
Italian?
these quite a bit in the evening, not early in the evening.
Yeah, fairly
But they
late.
tend to go up, about the same time. Except that one time the other day when it was 2 a.m. local. And I was like, yes, it's still 12 o'clock in Brazil. Counts as a Tuesday.
Yes. It's Tuesday somewhere, as the old saying.
Because it doesn't always want to cooperate with me. Sometimes the audio files are being a bit shitty, or I'm just being a bit of a cock when it comes to video editing. Freely admit it.
Yeah.
Freely admit it.
Well, that's the first step to, admitting a problem is the first step to improving, or whatever the expression is. But yes, welcome, listeners, to the TLDR podcast, the Dark Souls of podcasts. Not sure what I mean by that.
Oh yeah, I do get the reference. So,
It's a thing people
are you
say.
drinking anything at all?
I am drinking my new favourite beer that I only discovered last week, Whole Garden.
Whole Garden, which is
of course where you plant the prostitutes and they sprout in the Whole Garden. Yeah, Whole Garden. It's my new fave. Fucking Belgian wheat beer. Oh, it's delicious.
it's quite nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fucking great. My mate at work recommended it to me because I'm a big fan of Blue Moon.
Did he tell you to drink it with lemon?
He did. I'm not drinking it with lemon.
I'll give you a
'cause I
little
don't have any
fun
lemon.
fact for that, because they serve it with lemon and they often just chuck it in the glass. But originally it was intended because the fermentation of the beer itself would not settle in properly on the glass. So what they would do is they would get the lemon and then give it a little alongside the rim of the glass, so it would settle properly. So the acids in the lemon would stop the foaming from going all across. But that's evolved,
is that similar to
or
the...
downgraded into we're now just drinking it with lemon. Just chuck it in there.
It's just the done thing. Is that why orange in Blue Moon as well then? Is it the citrusy acids, or is that just for flavour?
I'm not quite aware of what the reasoning behind the Blue Moon one is. But
Maybe it's just tasty.
probably, and I have to admit, when it's a nice sunny day out and you're on the terrace in a beer garden having a Whole Garden, a little lemon zest doesn't really hurt.
I gotta say, the first time I ever had a Blue Moon and they put a slice of orange in it, I thought they were fucking insane. I was this close to being like, "What the fucking hell are you doing?" Like, I thought they'd made a mistake. Then, oh no, apparently this is how it's served. Okay. You crazy Europeans.
A 1953 champagne. I want your newest wines. And this steak tartare is raw.
Yep. That is me, the voice of Brexit Britain. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking a Chenin Blanc, which was, it was on sale. You know me, I'm a skint cheap bastard, so...
Sucker for a bargain.
And Chenin Blanc, I was like, yeah, that's French for Chenin White, and I could do with a white. I prefer whites and rosés over reds. Except when I'm eating steak dinners or something like that.
Yeah, you gotta have
Big red meaty stuff. Because on the general, I like drinking away a wine that just, goes down a little bit easy.
There was a point where I couldn't drink reds. I couldn't stomach them at all. Like I think rosé is rosé is beginner's level. That's the gateway wine. You start off on the rosé, that eases you in, and then I progressed to white because because my mum drinks white, so there was always white kicking around the house, and I was like, a little glass of white, okay. And then eventually, I acquired the taste for red wine, or maybe I just found one that I liked particularly that finally hit the spot. And like once I was fully on the red wine train, that's it. No looking back. Like I can't drink white wine now. Really, it just is so inferior to reds.
It's just that it stains your teeth, and it's quite.
It do, yeah.
Quite.
It does,
I don't want to call it harsh, but it's way more present when you drink it down. Especially.
Oh, it definitely is.
Not always a fan, but hey, I'll freely admit my palate might be slightly delicate.
A lot more. I think with reds, there's a much bigger risk-reward factor. I think whites and rosés especially are a bit safer, and with a red, it can really go off piste if you get a bad one. But I think if you get one that's especially nice, nothing better.
Right.
Nothing
we're
better.
doing a bit of an impromptu thing today because I kind of sprung this on you.
Yeah, a little bit.
You've referenced Event Horizon a couple of times. And then one of my best friends that live around here, he said, we're going to have to catch up. We have to watch a movie sometimes. I'm like, have you ever seen Event Horizon? And he was like, yes. I'm like, shit. He's like, I'll happily watch it again, though. I'm like, hooray!
Yeah.
So
it definitely bears repeat viewings, I think. I was going to try and sneak a viewing in this weekend, actually, at some point, but I haven't found the time.
Then you got hungover.
Which would have been good had I known we were going to do a deep dive into it. But, I think I'm familiar enough with it. I've seen Event Horizon a fair few times because it's one of my faves. So.
Well, I've got notes, so.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Right, we'll just tackle this chronologically as we always do, because that way we can just dissect this slightly step by step. And let me just get off it right here. As soon as the movie starts, it already had its hooks inside me, because I think what we've now recognised by now is that there's a pattern, and I am a sucker for visual spectacles, for big cinematographies with sweeps and pans and swoops and all that good stuff. And it just immediately gives us a big zoom in on a ship and a wham shot that makes you go like, what the fuck am I looking at here? Before it brings us to a very I don't want to say cliche aliens ship like the Xenomorph aliens, but it does give us the basic, introduction, like, hey, here are all these colourful characters and here are all their basic traits. Join them as they die off every couple of minutes.
It's a good parallel to draw, actually, the crew with aliens. Like, it is literally straight into, here's all these guys who aren't necessarily all fleshed out into 3D characters. They're just a collection of traits loosely strung together, some of them.
But it helps.
Some more than others. But
yeah, it helps that the actors, they're all likable at the very least, and the ones that aren't, they at the very least they didn't get all my tits, to put it professionally. So the main actor, I suppose, is Sam Neill. I was quite surprised. I quite like Sam Neill, especially seeing as he talks about his pet pig in New Zealand a lot.
Pigs on Twitter. How good is he on Twitter? He's so brilliant on Twitter.
He loves that thing, doesn't he?
Yeah, the missus is like suddenly a massive Sam Neill fan, whereas I think she was quite ambivalent towards him previously.
Because of his pig?
Because of his pig, and various other animals as well, and all of whom are named after sort of minor celebrity.
Oh, well, the pigs are cute animals. I know we eat them, but they are cute and adorable.
Yeah, in a way.
In a way.
In a way. They've got their charms.
They have their charms. Jason Isaacs is in this film. I did not know he was in it.
Oh, yeah, Jason Isaacs is in this film, and he's very good in it.
He's quite good. Let me see who else was.
Sean Pertwee, gravel-voiced son of nephew of Wurzel Gummidge. Sorry,
he's the son.
He's Wurzel Gummidge's son, is he? Okay,
he is the son. But I was going to say Alfred in that hit series Gotham, but I'm not a big fan of Gotham, so yeah. But it feels nice to credit something to him anyway. And he's far from the worst thing in Gotham. He's quite.
And
how do I put it? He's a bit more Michael Caine Alfred.
Yeah.
And Morpheus from.
Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne.
Lawrence Fishburne, that's the one.
Big Larry Fishburne on duty here.
I have to say,
he's not Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
He's not really that impressive, Lawrence Fishburne, in this film, but he serves the purpose.
He's serviceable.
Yeah, he does his job. But my favourite of the lot was Sean Pertwee, definitely.
Yes,
he's got that
me too.
Cheeky Northern London attitude a little bit.
I'm a big fan of Sean Pertwee in general, actually.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, he's odd in that he never ever seems to be in anything
Huge.
particularly massive. He just always appears in sort of low budget horror and things of that nature as a bit part character, like Dog Soldiers and things like that. He's fantastic in Dog Soldiers and various other things of that level. But yeah, I'm a big fan of him in general. I find him to be a charismatic chap. And he does the voiceovers on MasterChef, so you know. That's a big
Oh well, I don't watch that, so you should know.
Well,
that.
you should. The new series starts like next week, so that's very exciting.
Then there's a young lad whose character is called Justin, but I don't know anything else about him.
Yeah, the daft lad.
Daft lad.
I mean, we'll get to him later because fuck.
You get the mum.
Oh,
You get the mum lady who's got a son.
Mama Bear. Yeah.
I have no idea which actress that is.
No.
And you've got the last one lady who is the last one alive. I don't have a character for her either. She's just the last
The de facto final girl. Yeah, no, I was going to say up front that I was going to reveal my ignorance, even though I claim to love this film, by not knowing any of the characters' names. But like you've just watched it, and clearly you don't either. So,
Well,
you took notes, and you still don't know the
I'm
characters'
bad with names.
So.
I do know that
Yeah, you are.
the other black guy is called Cooper, and he's he's your typical, like, oh, you want something hot and black in you? Oh yeah, that kind of guy. He's all right. He's not bad. He's like the lifesaver, wasn't he? He was like the lifeboat guy.
Whatever, yeah,
Something like that's how he described himself.
They do all have sort of vaguely defined roles within the crew. It's never really
they're not interchangeable at the very least. So that works in this film's favour. So Sam Neill's character, Dr. Weir, yeah, he's designed this ship called the Event Horizon. It's got like this new drive, a gravity drive, which folds space-time so it can fly straight through it and then instantaneously appear somewhere else in the universe. Nice little bit of sci-fi there.
His little explanation with the folding paper is very neat and nice. I like that bit of shorthand for the viewer.
Yeah, it basically makes it immediately clear like what's going on. And we've already, gone in like half an hour into film because that's basically all that happens. They talk a little bit, they travel a little bit, and
Is it really that long? Like sort of.
Yeah, it does.
Is it? I thought it was pretty straight into like, oh shit starts happening.
Yeah, it does take quite a bit because it has to warm up with nightmares that Dr. Weir's having.
Oh, good Christ, yeah.
Those are some good nightmares.
Oh man.
They end up on the Event Horizon with 4 of them, I think. Jason Isaacs, Sean Pertwee, Cooper, and Dr. Weir. It's very weird to use like half actors, half character names, but I'm gonna roll with it. They stay on the Lewis and Clark.
The Lewis and Clark. Great name for an exploration ship.
Great name for an exploration ship. And the other ones, they go onto the Event Horizon, which is nice and gothic for a spaceship.
How fucking cool is the like gothic cathedral aesthetic of the Event Horizon? It is brilliant.
It's mental.
Oh, it's in the shape of a cross.
Yeah.
Fucking fantastic.
They know that something's very wrong already because they managed to catch a transmission of one of the last messages the ship sent out, and it was like Latin, like I don't even know the Latin.
It's liberate tutte me ex inferis.
It starts off with liberate me, which means help me or save me.
Save me, I think it is, yeah.
Right, so they're all across the ship, and there's like something definitely wrong there. Everybody's dead. And I just love the suspense this is building up, because it's just...
all, like, frozen, floating shit flying around in the ship. Fucking very weird.
There's a stupid jump scare where there's, like, a hand brushing against someone's face. It's like, what the fuck is that? It's just like,
so good.
It's a frozen hand.
Of course it is.
Yeah, it's all just very good atmosphere, and I'm really into this film at this point. Mind you, you did say that some people find this film divisive, and I think a large part of it is because of Justin and his relationship with the other characters, because he's called Baby Bear.
Baby Bear. Yes.
And I don't know about you, but I really can't see anybody legit going around to, your name's Baby Bear, and then going like, yeah, that's a great nickname, thank you.
I mean, there was a pro wrestler whose nickname was the Baby Bear.
Well, that might have been an ironic nickname. He was...
I don't think it was.
What?
I think it's just because he was small.
Oh, so he was small then, was he?
He was kind of small, yeah. I don't know.
Right, so Justin finds the gravity drive, which is this great design. It's like these 3 spirals.
How cool.
And they twirl.
Is that? I mean, that whole, like, the corridor leading to the engine room and the engine room itself is just the coolest set in cinema. It's so brilliant.
I actually have one other set in this film that I prefer over that, but it's that. The gravity drive room is so good.
Oh, it's long before I'd seen this film, I'd seen that shot of the thing, like, lighting up. And I was like, what the fuck is that? What? Like, I'd seen it so many times on trailers and things, and I never knew what movie it was from. I was like, that looks so cool. What is that? What is it from? Oh, it's brilliant.
So the
I think it's good that they never ever try and go into the science fiction too much of how that all works. It is just it's just this bit of magic science.
This is how it works. It's got it's
gravity.
Good that
they keep it vague. Like they keep it vague, and that is to the film's credit, because if they fucking try to get bogged down in that shit, it would just be a mess.
It helps with the suspension of disbelief.
It does. It doesn't matter. For me, it's not. This isn't a sci-fi movie. Event Horizon's a horror film.
It definitely is a horror film.
It's not a sci-fi movie.
The setting is sci-fi, but it's a horror film.
Yeah, definitely, 100%, definitely. So I don't think it needs all the.
Because with all the imagery that's involved later on, fuck me.
Oh, I love this film.
Right, so the gravity drive starts with Justin in the room, and he just goes blank, and he walks into this portal. And
you can see forever.
You can see forever. And shit hits the fan, so Cooper, he launches himself into the ship without gravity. He's got a suit on, and he managed to pull Justin out. But of course, Justin is completely gone loopy at that point.
Proper blue screen of death, like
nobody
is home.
Something has gone wrong with Justin.exe.
Fucking file not found. Absolutely.
So Justin's gone catatonic, and he lies on the bed. And the other lady, the mum, who is also nicknamed Mama Bear.
Mama Bear.
Which kind of doesn't help with the entire...
No.
Because that comes into play just a couple of minutes from now, I suppose. But she's treating him, or she's around him in the sickbay area. And she gets to have like one of these visions of her son, who we saw earlier on when she was watching like a video log from Earth. Except the kid's like covered in sores and his legs are completely open. Oh my god, that was so fucking gross. Oh right, so the gravity drive activating caused a shockwave, right? So it hurt the loser Clark. So the entire crew of that ship, they had to get on board of the Event Horizon. So they're basically stuck up shit creek without a paddle. So they try and figure out what's going on and what happened to the crew. And they find out what was actually going on when Jason Isaacs, I believe, his character managed to figure out that it's not liberate me, but liberate me tutte met ex infernis. Which means save yourself from hell.
He's so good and creepy in that scene as well. He's like, when he's explaining what it is, he's so fucking... Oh, he's so good.
He's so good
in that scene.
So all the while, Dr. Weir is seeing more and more visions. He's definitely losing it slightly because at one point...
Is this where we get like my least favourite scene in cinema history with his wife in the bath?
No, that's way further in.
Oh, is this where he's like dicking around in the corridors of the engine room then?
No, there's a banging on a door. Something is behind the door, and the crew is in front of it, and he's half limping towards it, like I have to open it, and then the blonde lady, I'll have to check her name, like at least give her that respect. It's not Kathleen Quinlan, so it has to be the other one.
Oh, yes, the other one.
Jolie Richardson, there we go. Who's English? Right. Oh, she was in 101 Dalmatians. There we go.
Oh, that's where I know. That's where I know her name from.
That's where I know.
I was like, I've definitely heard that name. I know she's in something else.
Oh, bugger off. So she subdues him, and then all the while, Sean Pertwee and Cooper are out in space fixing the thing, Lewis and Clark.
The Lewis and Clark, yeah.
As well as Lawrence Fishburne. And then Joey has gone up and walked off. And he's in the airlock. Joey, Justin, whatever.
This scene, oh man, so brilliant.
Brilliant? I really didn't like this scene.
Really? Because
he goes... Okay, the beginning is good. He's in the airlock. He's locked himself in. And he's going like, I've seen forever. And all kinds of good quasi-biblical, shit is going the wrong way.
He's basically speaking in tongues at this point. Like,
he could have been
properly in a trance.
He could have been speaking in voices like...
Yeah, it's just short of that, yeah.
So he opens up the airlock, which is on a timer. And then he snaps out of it. And he's talking to the mum, and he's like, Mama Bear? What's going on?
Oh,
Please let me out, Mama Bear. I'm like, And then Lawrence Fishburne is like, I'm gonna rescue you, Justin! That was just bad. I mean...
really? I think it's so brilliant in the way it, like... That timer ticking down, and he gets more and more panicked. Like, I think he's pretty good in that scene, the actor. Like, it looks as if he's about to wet himself. Like, the fear seems palpable and real, and you know that something really bad is about to happen, and the counter ticking down is what's like, oh no, I don't want to see this guy decompress in space. Sure. And I think they did it brilliantly as well. Like, the bit where all his veins, like, fucking... like pop out of his skin.
Yeah, with the pressure inside the body is getting bigger than the pressure outside.
I think that looks excellent. I can't remember how they did that, but it's a great effect.
That did look creepy. That was quite unnerving. But it's just
this is one of the weirdest scenes in the film as well. I think this is quite divisive because I think most people watch this scene and go like, as if he'd survive. Like, everyone's pissed off that he lives through this because Lawrence Fishburne coaches him through it, whatever.
That's because people are stupid.
But according to the internet, this is actually way more dramatic than it would have been in real life. Like, apparently you could deal with that better in real life than he was in the film.
True. You also don't explode immediately.
Yeah, like, apparently you can survive like a surprisingly long time in the vacuum of space.
It's just the biggest problem is the pressure inside the body is bigger than the pressure outside. And you're actually quite more likely to get burnt up in space because of the unprotected solar rays you're receiving.
Oh, the radiation and shit flying around.
Because we get protected by our handy-dandy ozone layer, but out in space, there's no such thing.
To varying degrees.
Well, yeah.
we get protected by the ozone layer.
But yeah, it's just the dialogue. It was just, like...
I can totally see that, actually. I can absolutely see that. I guess I always just ignore it completely and just like, I'm about to see some gross shit, like...
I mean, it wasn't a deal breaker for me or anything. But,
I love it. I think it's one of the best scenes in the movie. I love it.
Right, so at this point, I'm pretty sure that Sam Neill's lost it.
Yeah, we're definitely getting to that point.
Yeah, because Joey's all but dead. He's got his eyes popped out, which exploded, which is quite gross.
Grim. All the blood coming out of his face and shit.
Yeah. And Weir has had this nightmare with his wife, and that is the bit you didn't like. And you warned me about this.
Did I?
Yeah, because we were talking about slitting of one's wrists and how...
Oh, shit. Yeah, well, yeah. This is like my least favourite thing in cinema.
It makes us... But I didn't find this one quite as bad. It's probably because, like I said, I watched Gerald's Game.
Gerald's Game, yeah. I think what this has going for it is it is so mundane. It's almost too real. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Gerald's Game is like graphic to a point where it's like sensational. Whereas this is like, it's just someone casually slitting their wrists in the bath, and that is
Plus,
fucking...
It cut away quite... that's not intentional. It changed...
The only one worse is the one in Scum.
Yeah.
If you've seen that. The one right at the end of Scum, like, makes me feel...
But in this film, it changed in between scenes quite quickly. Like, at one point, you see her doing the deed, and the next one, she's already dead in the bathtub.
Yeah.
And I can deal with that. As soon as I see a dead body, it's like, fine, that's a dead body. It's more of the act itself that bothers me. So
absolutely the same. 100% the same, yeah.
So Dr. Weir's gone completely fucking mad. He's plucked
properly off
out
the deep end,
his fucking eyes. And the sight of his wife without eyes. I was like, I don't know if that's CGI or if that's a practical effect, but that looks quite weird.
This fucking weird hollow head, like...
Yeah, like the entire skull was empty. And now Dr. Weir's gone off in the same direction. And this is basically now turned into a slasher, where Dr. Weir's the big bad guy. Because as we've established in this film, the ship is alive, and it wants everybody dead. But for some reason, it likes Dr. Weir. Yeah. Maybe some kind of a Frankenstein thing issue, like I like my dad.
Maybe. I always sort of read it as like it's kind of implied, because he's having the visions even before they get there.
Yeah.
And it's kind of some link between him and the ship, and like he's sort of already in some way possessed or something, like as if the ship is controlling him, or hell, the devil, whatever is controlling him. It's some vague possession bullshit.
Right, so he was already on his way before going there. Yeah.
That's right. That's the way I kind of always read it.
I can see that.
But it's by the way, really.
So he takes one of the explosives which they had on the Lewis and Clark, which for reasons, and he puts it.
Oh, we'll get to that.
On top of the Lewis and Clark, which is a shame because he immediately kills off my favorite character in the film. Sean Pertwee panics and he's like, "I'll just fix this ship. I don't want to get stuck here. I'm going to find that bomb," and he finds the bomb, and it's in a typical fashion 5, 4, 3.
Oh, the subtle lip quiver on Sean Pertwee.
That scene, that shot, that was so great. Fantastic.
Yeah, chef's kiss.
It's like,
it always really upsets me because I love that character and I love Sean Pertwee.
Yeah. So when he looks at it, he's like, "Oh no," and he's like, you can legit taste the fear of him.
Yeah, he's like the subtle sort of lip quiver is just brilliant.
Yeah, so that's a shame. Rest in peace, Space Sean Pertwee.
Oh, we fucking did we gloss over the blood orgy?
They saw the blood orgy in the video.
Yeah, we've skipped over the blood orgy. Yeah.
Right. I kind of conglomerated that with the Liberati Tutemetics Inverness.
Just the Jason Isaacs. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
So
for anyone who hasn't seen this film, there's a fucking full-on blood orgy.
And that's basically when they decide to leg it. Like, we're going to get the fuck out of it.
They apparently shot like 20 minutes of footage or something of that, and the studio was like, that ain't going in. Because it's like the most graphic shit ever. They're like, nah,
it might have been like, if they put in just what they put in at that point in the film now, they might not have gotten away with it. So when they exaggerate, usually the studio says like, "Oh no, cut that down," and then they cut down to the bit they actually want. This is a very common trick which a lot of directors and studios employ, like just to get it past the producers. They make it worse.
It could have been worse. Yeah, okay.
Right, so let me see who's dead by now. Sean Pertwee.
Pretty much everybody.
First, I think he kills off Jason.
Jason Isaacs is gone by this point. He gets like fucking
operated
guts pulled out and shit. Yeah, like, oh my god, he gets like hung, drawn, and quartered almost.
Yeah, he's like, "I'm gonna stop Dr. Weir," and he turns around and he gets, knocked the fuck out, put on an operating table.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing about Weir at this point in that scene is we find out he's got like superhuman strength because Isaacs turns around and is like lifted bodily off his feet by the eyeless Dr. Weir with one hand.
I hadn't even clocked onto that.
He just like grabs him by the throat with one arm and is just like hoists him into the air.
Yeah, I suppose so.
I think that's why we find out he's got no eyes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because before that, he's covered his face and he went.
Yeah.
Right.
Again, graphic eye bleeding is the favourite trick of this film.
Yep. So he literally gets strung out, like his torso remains somewhat intact, I suppose, and then it just gets spread open and the guts hanging out.
Like his full chest cavity and rib cage is just torn open.
God.
Oh Lord in heaven.
Disgusting. Cooper's been launched into space, by the way, because of the explosion of the Lewis.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah, he does get blown. He gets blown off.
Which is a bit weird because he's like, "Oh no, I have to go back down there. I'll just do that thing that Matt Damon did in The Martian."
Oh god, yeah, he does. He just
rips off his oxygen tube and he just launches himself. But right, so Dr. Weir's, having a good old time, and he's. I like the bit where the they're trying to collect these energy tubes or the oxygen filters, were they? And, the mama bear, she's the last one there. She sees her son again, and I quite like the fact that Weir doesn't actually do anything with her. It's the ship. She sees her son. She chases after him in the vents in the machine room. Yeah, she goes into
the weird the engineer room, fucking.
And she falls down. She doesn't see a pit in the floor, and she falls down all the way down to the gravity room, which is like several stories high at this point. And she dies there in a big pool, and the blood goes everywhere. It's a great image. I really like that. It's like she just actually colours the entire blood red alongside, and she lies there still alongside the oxygen filters, which I really like the fact that they telegraphed that.
Yeah.
That's going to, for anybody listening who hasn't seen the film, it's going to come into play later. Right, so...
This film is very good at that. There's not a lot of wasted motion. Like, basically everything...
Everything has, purpose.
Everything leads to something else later on. Like, it's all kind of important.
Yeah. So, Lawrence Fishburne is on the run, and this is my favourite set at one point. He had a chat with Jason Isaacs about his... he left somebody behind in space.
Oh, the fire. Fucking the fire in space.
But the set is the big green tube in the background with some kind of a liquid in it. I don't quite know what it was for.
No.
But that's a great set.
Just to look cool and sciencey.
Yep. So he had a chat with Jason Isaacs in front of it, and I love that scene. I love that shot. I love it. It's just completely parallel. Yeah. Both sides look exactly the same. Except in the middle, you got a big green scene breaker. And this big green tube suddenly starts filling up with blood. Oh my god, did I fucking love that shot. Fuck me, that big barrel, it's like bigger than a person is tall and wider than, 6 feet across. Let me put it like that. And it goes blood and this glass shatters and there's a torrent of this gross muck. Oh
it's
my
very
God.
The Shining.
Yeah,
it's very reminiscent of The Shining.
Shining when the lift comes down.
The elevator. Yeah, it's fucking just gallons of this shit fucking spewing out.
So it's Lawrence Fishburne and the blonde lady left on the ship, and they go to the deck, I suppose.
Yeah,
and that's where.
At this point, have they decided that they're just gonna
blow shit up,
the hell up?
Yeah,
and get out of there because like. Oh, they had a plan to like blow it in half or something. Like blow
because it's like T-shaped.
The engine,
and the engine was in the lower bit of the ship, so they wanted to blow the engine away and use what power they have left to manually fly back to Earth.
Yeah.
But who's in the fucking driver's seat?
Oh man,
Dr. Weir, and this is where your favourite line comes from.
I mean, one of the best lines in cinema. Like, so brilliant.
Where do you think we're going? Where we're going, we don't need eyes to see, and it's just
we don't need roads where we're going.
And just the way he's put that, and I was quite surprised throughout this entire film how well Sam Neill does the entire psychopathic killer.
He's walking a fucking fine line here between like massive ham, like over the top pantomime villain, and genuinely creepy, and I think he just about manages to keep on that tightrope.
He does it so well, because I know him like, oh, he's like the dad figure in Jurassic Park. Oh, he's like this guy.
I know, right? Like even in real life as well.
He's like the wise man from that King Arthur miniseries somewhere in the 90s, and it's like just in general, he usually comes across very pleasant and very approachable.
Yeah, an affable man,
and then this film, and I'm like, I don't know how you do it, Sam Neill, but I love it. I fucking love you.
Yeah, he handles what is a difficult role well, because in other hands it could easily have become like the most over-the-top bullshit fucking... We don't need eyes. You know what I mean? It could have been so bad.
Imagine fucking Jeremy Irons in that role.
Oh, I kind of want to see that.
Where we're going, we don't need ice to see.
Imagine Nicolas Cage in that role.
Oh my god, that would have been awful. And don't get me wrong, I love me some Nicolas Cage. Right, this is a bit where it kind of bothers me with how cartoony it becomes. Because Lawrence Fishburne, Sam Neill are having this showdown, like, which mind will prevail? and Dr. Weir's got the harpoon gun, and there comes Cooper landing smack dab middle on the fucking windshield of the ship.
Doesn't he do like a proper full on like whoa?
Like, whoa! It's barely not Looney Tunes. You could hear the accordion going like, and he's like, "Oh shit, what's going on?" And then he sees Sam Neill pointing a harpoon gun at him, and he's like, "Oh shit, oh no, man!" It's a little bit over the top, but
a little, just a little.
But Sam Neill shoots the I call it a windshield. We're gonna go with that. He shoots the hole, and it breaks, and he gets sucked out, and Lawrence Fishburne is like, "Oh no, fine old lady, I have to save you because I'm not leaving anybody behind," despite the fact he already lost his entire fucking crew. What was her name again? Joey something. Jolie Richardson. Right, so he saves Final Girl, and together they discover that there's something in one of the airlocks. So they go to the airlock, and they're like, "Oh no, it's a monster," but it's Cooper. So I'm like, okay, Cooper lives. That's fine. He gets to live. So Lawrence Fishburne, in typical action hero fashion, goes to the gravity drive, as Jolie and Cooper go to the front somewhere. I don't know. They go somewhere in the ship where they reckon they'll be safe and be able to make it
safe,
out.
The safe room.
Because the deck has been destroyed, all but.
Yeah, been breached.
But
compromised, rather.
Compromised. That's a good word to put it, because that's the official word to put it. Lawrence Fishburne is in the gravity drive, and this movie just, I don't want to use the word overdrive, but it kicks it up a gear. It just makes it even more fucking insane. Fire starts breaking out. He sees his old comrade in arms, or just another astronaut. I don't know how to put it.
Like rising up out of the fucking
flame. He's like, "No, you died many years ago." And then his face changes in quite decent mid-90s CGI, I must add.
Not bad for like 97.
Not bad.
And it's a fairly low budget as well. So.
Yeah, because it's like, you could look at Species, and that's got way more budget than this, I think. And Species
I imagine so.
Looks quite shit in that regard.
Yeah, it hasn't aged brilliantly.
This is just a quick wipe, and suddenly the dead body man is Sam Neill again. And I love this. I'm like, yes, thank you for giving me just a couple more minutes.
Doesn't he do like the big dumb grin as well? Like
he's covered in cuts like he's Jesus Christ, and he's been
his face is all fucking Hellraiser.
Oh my god, he's just everything open wounds. It's great. I fucking love this so much.
He's good.
Squeeing over it. I'm like, yeah, this looks fantastic. This is fucking gross.
I do think it is kind of a drawback with this film is that you kind of love Dr. Weir so much. You probably shouldn't. Do you know what I mean? Like, anytime he appears in the sort of third act, you're like, yeah, here's my guy.
I think if you actually didn't like him, the film wouldn't have worked that much. But that might be a discussion for another day.
No.
So he's like, I will make you see horrors. I'll show you something. I'm not quite sure what.
He's using a little speech about how the crew are all in hell and they're being tortured forever.
Oh, that's it.
And he's gonna
grabs Lawrence Fishburne's head, and they show Justin as well. It's great because he's strapped across a crucifix, and everybody's screaming in horror. This quick pass.
This was another thing where they'd recorded like a lot more footage for it, and the studio were like, no, you can only put in like half a frame of this graphic torture and no more. So that's why it's all like.
But I love it. It just quickly pans, so you don't get a moment to settle in.
Which I think works better because it's that classic thing of like the imagined horror will all like.
Yeah.
Once you've said in a script like I am literally going to show this character the actual depths of hell, it's difficult to live up to that billing. So to just give a quick shot of like a suggestion of graphic torture, I think works better than.
You don't get to settle in and analyse things like, hang on, that's obviously a fake arm.
Yeah, or even be like, well, but even then it's like, well, that doesn't look so bad for actual hell, like.
But all the crew, they're all screaming in agony, covered in blood. Good shit all across. Good shit.
And it's particularly good, that bit, because obviously Lawrence Fishburne's personal hell is all the guilt about leaving his crew behind, leading them into danger. And presumably at this point he's thinking like, oh, well, at least, they're dead, they know peace now. But then it's like, oh, actually, no, they're in hell, they're being tortured forever, and it's your fault. Like, just twisting the knife a little bit more on that character.
That's a quite clever way of looking at it, because I hadn't thought of that yet.
I've always read that into it, that it's like, that's his worst thing, is, his leading his crew into danger, hell. The guilt. Yeah, and then, they're all being tortured in eternity because of him.
Oh, that's a quite good way to look at it. Well, okay.
Event Horizon, clever film.
Event Horizon, it's got layers.
Layers. It's not just gross shit. It's actually...
Right, so...
gross shit and the best line in cinema history.
This is the bit where Mama Bear's death comes into play, because Lawrence Fishburne goes like all defiantly like, no!
Chekhov's oxygen.
Yeah,
tank.
He grabs a big, which is, I suppose, an aluminum tube, and he twats Sam Neill in the fucking face.
Brilliant.
And he just beats on him, and then a bomb goes off, and I have to say, the last shot of Sam Neill going, no! It's a bit hammy, but by this point, we've already passed that point, I suppose.
Oh, no, we're fucking... we've crossed the event horizon by that point of the film, so...
So Cooper and Jolie Richardson, they get to put themselves in stasis and they fly off while the gravity drive has been destroyed, presumably.
Oh, just to walk it back a little bit, that bit where when the explosion goes off and Fishburne does the run through the big spinny corridor.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool shot, but B, they had to film it in like fits and starts because that big spinny corridor, like the fucking weird rotating cylinder.
Yeah.
That was an actual thing that they built on the set. But for Fishburne, when he tried to like run through it, it like made him like really ill. It gave him like really bad. It gave him like really, really bad motion sickness. So they had to film it like piecemeal and cobble it together because he couldn't actually do it without getting violently sick.
Motion sickness.
Yeah, it gave him like really fucking awful motion sickness. Yeah,
that's quite funny.
Yeah, just a weird little bit of trivia there for you.
Right, so Lawrence Fishburne is dead though.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and we're left with Cooper, who's probably had the most characterization out of the two, and the last girl.
The final girl. And Justin's fucking battered
corpse
vessel. I hesitate to call it a corpse.
He did die, didn't he? Or did I?
I think it's left sort of ambiguous, isn't it? He's just fucked up from being in the airlock and then sort of put in the sick bay, and then we never see him again, really.
Well, anyway, they get rescued, and you get like, or is it? Because the astronauts that come to take them out of stasis, one takes the helmet off, and it's Sam Neill covered in cuts and bruises. I was like, chin, 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 chin. But no.
Isn't there something about "You're here with us forever" or something like that? Like,
yep.
There's some line. Fucking amazing.
And that's the end of the film. She then wakes up because that was a dream, and she gets rescued for real, and we immediately go to credits.
Oh, does she?
And that was Event Horizon, which we covered quite quickly, I must add.
We flew through that.
Not intentionally so.
No. But no, I mean, that is Event Horizon in a nutshell. I love it.
I fucking love it.
It's so. I mean, I do think it probably does live off cool visuals a lot of the time. But
definitely.
It's not. What Event Horizon is essentially some very cool ideas strung together with very cool set pieces, and then there's a flimsy plot draped over that. But it's such a satisfying watch. I love it. I love it.
The plot is basically there just to get us from one event to the other.
I think so.
To give us this visuals of hell in space.
But it's such a cool aesthetic as well, like the gothic fucking sci-fi
this
stuff.
This basically could have been a Hellraiser film in space.
I think there's a shitload of Hellraiser-like elements. I mean, especially Sam Neill sort of mutilated face.
Jesus Christ-like appearance, yes.
I think it's very Hellraiser, I think. And the like the Jason Isaacs like being like hooked up and torn out, like that is straight out of a Hellraiser movie.
Definitely. And the eyes being plucked out of everybody's corpses.
Yeah, and there's so much cool shit. Like, and then there's all the cool. Anytime there's like the blood bursting out of the thing, or like the bit where the blood is like going down the lights in the corridor, like the lights are all filling up with the blood.
Yeah.
that's all really cool. That's like, something out of The Shining or something. Yeah,
Look, I'll freely admit this film is probably not one of the best films ever, but that won't stop me from saying, like, oh, it's probably one of my favourite films.
Yeah, I think it's one of the most enjoyable. Like, it's deeply pleasing to me. If mainly on an aesthetic level, then whatever. Like, I mean, I think it's quite damning that I've seen it so many times, like 4 or 5 times, and I love it deeply, and yet I know the names of like 2 characters. that tells you that is in itself that betrays the flaws within this movie, but there's so much good shit about it that I think
definitely
it's forgivable. I must say, like, this is, of all the films I've made my girlfriend watch, this is like her least favourite one.
You made her watch this? What, did you tie her down?
I didn't make her, but like, because I love it. I'm like, I fucking love it. I used to always go on about it. And I was like, shall we watch it? Can we watch Event Horizon? Like, because I was going to watch it anyway. I was like, do you want to watch it with me? And she did. And she was not impressed. She just didn't dig it at all. But I fucking love it. I can understand why people wouldn't like it. I think you almost got to suspend disbelief. The set, like, immediately at the door, you've got to check your disbelief and just go along for the ride and enjoy the cool shit. Like, any time you're going to get a blood orgy and people talking in Latin and things like that, like, I'm there. I'll at least give that a watch out of curiosity, if nothing else. Like,
it's definitely a little bit too much in some regards. Like, it's just a little bit too camp and a little bit too gory without any real driving plot behind it. So I can definitely see what people would say, like, no, that was shit. But, different strokes, different blokes. I really fucking love this, but I appreciate it if somebody says, you know what, this film is not for me. And I'll be just good as friends with them afterwards as I would be before. It's not as if they would tell me, like, oh, I don't understand, The Godfather, it's way too slow. Then I'd be like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah.
So this film is not The Godfather.
It fucking most assuredly is not The Godfather. So there's the one-line review from TLDR of Event Horizon. Event Horizon, it ain't The Godfather. there that is.
Right, so, any closing thoughts? I think we already had those, didn't we?
Basically, yeah.
So follow my...
I think all that remains to say is TLDR approved.
TLDR approved. Follow my friend Stuart on Twitter on @StuBram2.
Yes, please do.
And follow me on Twitter on @DutchSticker, which is the same name as the channel of this YouTube you're probably listening this to, or not.
Hopefully. And follow @TLDR_podcast.
Yes, very good.
And follow @2Paddocks. That's Sam Neill.
For all your updates on pigs.
all your livestock needs.
Right, Stuart. See you soon.
I hope so. Yes, this was a lot of fun. I hope it was fun for you too, listener.
Definitely. Bye bye.
Arrivederci.
Oh, right, so they decided to, they've got issues with the Lewis and Clark. How did that happen again? I'm not quite sure. Let me just check the notes, which is Wikipedia.
Fucking... What a slick operation this is, like.
Hey, I can cut this out. Nobody will ever know.
You'd better.